Okay, so we've got parts of this alive. The sound and the tender in the tender and all the wiring coming from the tender and through this tether, this 10-wire tether into this little board back here. I've started to hook up things. I need to get a Chuff generator from Hennings that'll sit on the side of this motor, and that will actually make the steam chuff sound. It also goes to the Super-Chuffer, which is that guy. That will drive the smoke unit, the fan in the smoke unit, so that it will chuff or puff when it makes the chuff sound. And basically the Chuff generator reads like on the DCS and on the legacy locomotives, or Odyssey I should say, the speed of the flywheel. It's got a little reader that you put on there, and then a tape that goes around. But the Chuff generator feeds both the fan for that, or for the Super-Chuffer to run the fan, and then it sends a signal through to the TMCC unit on the Chuff input, which will fire the sound card to make the sound for the Chuff. I could have used a reed switch and magnet, and I have all of that, but the Chuff generator is really the better way to go, and the Chuff generator gives me a little extra functionality with some downlights that will go under the running boards to shine down on the wheels when it's stopped and just starting to move, something the legacy locomotives do. But I've got power hooked to this. I've got all the cables running across. The rear lamps are on. The speaker is mounted up under there along with the constant voltage regulator for the lamps. That I'm going to have that run on track power, or be fed by the track power, so that it doesn't change on and off with the headlights. The headlight will be controlled in part by this, but also the Super-Chuffer, when it goes in, dims the headlight when it's not moving and brightens it up when it's moving. But this is working. All the power for the motor is coming from this through the tether and then across to the motor. I've also got all the ground and the pickup rollers, both hot and ground. A lead going to this board. It goes through the tether and ties into the rollers and the pickups, the rollers and the wheels for the power pickups on this, so that if it gets any low spots on either end, it'll carry through from the other end, just to give it a little more if you get a power drop. Like I said, it doesn't have the Chuff generator, so the steam sounds aren't doing anything right now. But you can hear that.
Dispatcher here. You're cleared onto the main. Over. Roger that. All clear. Out. How's that track look? Are we clear? Over. Affirmative. The track is yours. Over.
All of this just...
Roger that. All clear. Out.
All of this just squeezes into the tender, because this area back here on the back end, that's overlapped by that. I had to modify this Lionel sound card, RailSounds light sound card, which is their holder that fits the electric railroad. This mounting foot used to be on an end, and it stood the wrong way and would have hit the bottom of the tender. So I had to make it so it still stood up, but the other direction, so it fit inside, and I've got nice little clearances here. But I've put the 6-wheel Berk Jr. Trucks on it from a Lion Chief Berk Jr. That gave me the ability to put electrocouplers on. Unfortunately, the electrocouplers I had for a regular Berk Jr. don't fit. Apparently, the Lion Chief Berk Jr. coupler has a little bit different fit onto the mount, so I'll get some of those coming from Lionel eventually here. But for all intents and purposes, the tender, less the coupler wiring, once I get the right coupler, that's all wired. I've still got to put on the headlights and the Chuff wire onto this card back here. And that's a real bear to solder that tiny little thing. I can't hardly see it, but I have no shorts between them, so I'm not going to complain. I'm going to have to insulate the tops of that so that the shell doesn't accidentally catch it. The smoke switch is still going to be back there. There was a run program switch or a reverse lockout, depending on which version of Berk you were looking at on the other side. I took that out to have advantage of the little well that's under here to let me run all these wires from back here up front. So I took out that second switch because I won't be needing it. I did need the smoke on and off switch so that I could turn the smoke unit on and off. Once I get that hooked up, that'll get hooked up when the Chuff Generator shows up to tie it all together. The smoke, the element is those two solder joints there, and down under I got to solder on wires for the fan. Pretty painless installation of an MTH smoke unit. I just modified its bracket and screwed it onto the steam chest mount, which gave me the perfect place to put it. Put this little copper tube on it, goes right up into the stack, lines up square, and it'll blow smoke out the stack, but it'll do it on a puff and chuff with syncing with the sounds when the wheels go. But yeah, I got this thing working.
Dispatcher here. Please hold for track orders. Over. Copy that. Out.
We're not holding. Thanks for watching.